The massive ships appeared without warning on a quiet Sunday morning. 7 crystalline vessels, each the size of a small city, materialized simultaneously above Earth's largest metropolitan areas. Their surfaces rippled like liquid mercury, reflecting fractured sunlight across stunned populations below. Admiral Rana Patel was reviewing satellite data at the Global Defense Command when the first reports came in. She'd spent 20 years preparing for first contact, but nothing could have truly prepared humanity for this moment. The vessels defied known physics, generating no heat signature and remaining completely silent despite their enormous mass. "Status report," she demanded, striding into the command center. The room hummed with controlled chaos as analysts and military personnel from every major nation coordinated their response. "No aggressive actions detected yet," Admiral, Commander Jun Nakamura reported, his fingers dancing across holographic displays. "But they're positioning themselves in a pattern that suggests tactical significance. They could strike anywhere on Earth within minutes." Before Reyna could respond, every electronic device on Earth activated simultaneously. Phones, computers, televisions, all displayed the same image, a towering figure with iridescent skin and eyes like swirling galaxies. "People of Earth," the being spoke in perfect global broadcast, its voice translating instantly into every known language. "I am High Commander Vaxer of the Celestial Empire. Your world has been chosen for integration into our domain. Resistance is inadvisable. You have 30 days to surrender your sovereignty and accept our guidance. Should you refuse..." The figure paused, its galaxy eyes pulsing. "We will be forced to demonstrate why no civilization has ever successfully opposed us." The transmission ended, leaving Earth in stunned silence. Within hours, global panic erupted. Stock markets crashed. Religious leaders declared both apocalypse and salvation. Military forces worldwide went to high alert, though everyone knew their weapons would be useless against such advanced technology. But amid the chaos, something extraordinary was happening in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Dr. Kai Nakamura, leading a deep-sea research mission near the Mariana Trench, had just discovered something impossible: ruins of clearly artificial origin, covered in symbols that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. "Admiral Patel," Kai's voice crackled through a secure channel. "You need to see this. These structures, they're older than human civilization. Way older. And they're not dead. They're waiting." Reyna dispatched a team immediately. As reports flowed in, patterns emerged. The symbols in the ruins matched fragments found in ancient sites worldwide: Tibet, Easter Island, the Sahara Desert. Humanity had never understood their significance before, but now, with the Empire's ships hovering overhead, their purpose became clear. The ruins contained instructions. A message. A weapon. Reyna called an emergency meeting of the newly formed Global Defense Council. Representatives from every nation gathered virtually as she laid out what they'd found. "These ruins," she explained, "they're not just artifacts. They're a legacy, left by beings who once fought the Empire and won. Beings who chose Earth as their hidden fortress. And they left us the keys to unlock their power." "How can you be sure?" asked the Chinese representative, skepticism clear in her voice. "Because the Empire knows they're here," Reyna answered. "Look at their ship's positioning. They're carefully avoiding certain areas, the same areas where we're finding these ruins. They're afraid of something on Earth, something they can't control." The council deliberated for hours, but in the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would not surrender. Instead, they would decipher the ruins' message and awaken whatever force their ancient allies had left behind. As teams of scientists and linguists began their work, more discoveries accelerated their understanding. The symbols weren't just writing, they were keys to manipulating fundamental forces of the universe. Each one contained mathematical principles so advanced they made current physics look like child's play. 27 days remained until the Empire's deadline. Above, their ships maintained their silent vigil, unaware that far below, humanity was discovering its true heritage. Earth wasn't just another conquest for their empire. It was a fortress, a weapon, and a gateway to powers that even the empire feared. The race to unlock these ancient secrets had begun. And for the first time since the ships appeared, hope began to spread across the planet. Humanity had found its answer. Now they just had to survive long enough to use it. High Commander Vaxer watched Earth's cities through his ship's quantum viewers, his galaxy eyes troubled. Something was wrong. The humans weren't behaving like any other species they'd encountered. Instead of fighting amongst themselves or surrendering in terror, they were coordinating. Cooperating. And worst of all, they were looking in places that should have remained hidden forever. The High Commander sent an urgent message to the Empire's capital. Perhaps, he suggested, they should have just destroyed this troublesome planet immediately. Because if the humans managed to unlock what lay sleeping beneath their oceans, the Empire itself might face its greatest threat in 10,000 years. Dr. Kai Nakamura hadn't slept in 3 days. The symbols from the deep-sea ruins covered every surface of his makeshift laboratory aboard the research vessel Horizon. Each pattern seemed to pulse with its own inner light, defying conventional physics and challenging everything he thought he knew about the universe. "Professor, we've found something," his assistant Zara Ibrahim called from the computer station. She pulled up a holographic display showing new scans from the ocean floor. The symbols, they're not just on the walls. They're creating quantum fluctuations. Each one is like a key to a lock we can't see. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly. While studying the symbols' mathematical properties, they discovered that certain sequences created microscopic tears in spacetime itself. These weren't just instructions, they were activation codes for something vast and ancient. Meanwhile, at Global Defense Command, Admiral Patel coordinated a worldwide effort unlike anything in human history. Teams in every country worked around the clock, comparing notes on similar ruins found hidden in Earth's most remote locations. The Empire's ships still loomed overhead, but their presence had achieved something unprecedented, true global unity. "We've mapped 17 major sites," Commander Nakamura reported, marking locations on a global hologram. Each one contains different pieces of the same message. But there's something else. He highlighted energy readings around each location. These sites aren't dormant. They're awakening. The Empire noticed too. Their ships began moving, repositioning themselves above the major excavation sites. They made no hostile moves, they couldn't risk damaging what lay beneath, but their message was clear, they were watching. High Commander Vaxer paced in his command chamber, his crystalline armor reflecting the swirling patterns of hyperspace. "Impossible," he muttered, reviewing the latest reports. "The Guardians were destroyed. We saw their civilization burn." "Perhaps not all of them," his second-in-command, Nexar, suggested. "The legends speak of a hidden world." "Legends are for lesser species," Vaxer snapped. But doubt crept into his galaxy eyes. The Empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, but Earth was different. Something about this planet made his ancient blood run cold. Back on Earth, Zara made the connection that changed everything. While cross-referencing the symbols with ancient Earth texts, she found matches, not in one culture, but in all of them. Every ancient civilization had fragments of the same message, passed down through millennia. Earth was not just another planet. It was a vault, a sanctuary created by beings who had fought the Empire long ago. These beings, whom the ancient texts called the Guardians, hadn't been destroyed. They had transformed themselves, becoming one with the fundamental forces of the universe. And they had chosen Earth as their hiding place, leaving humanity as their unwitting protectors. "Look at this," Zara explained to a gathered group of scientists and military leaders. She displayed a complex sequence of symbols. "It's not just a message. It's a key. The Guardians didn't just hide here, they left us everything we need to fight back. But they waited until we were ready, until we faced a threat that would unite us." Admiral Patel studied the data. How do we activate these keys? The sites form a network, Kai explained. Each one is like a node in a vast quantum computer. When activated in the right sequence, they'll create a resonance pattern that will. He paused, searching for words to explain concepts that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. It will wake them up. But they weren't the only ones making discoveries. In orbit, the Empire's sensors detected growing quantum disturbances around each site. Vaxer knew they had to act soon. Yet the Empire's weapons, powerful enough to shatter planets, would be worse than useless here. They might trigger exactly what they feared most. The breakthrough in understanding came at a terrible cost. During an excavation in the Himalayas, a team accidentally activated one of the smaller symbols. The resulting quantum surge destroyed their equipment, but not before they recorded something extraordinary. For a brief moment, they detected another layer of reality overlaid on our own, filled with beings of pure energy in infinite complexity. The Guardians weren't gone. They were everywhere, watching, waiting for humanity to prove itself worthy of their power. As the Empire's deadline approached, humanity raced to understand the keys left to them. Each activated symbol caused more disturbances, drawing the attention of forces beyond human comprehension. The Empire's ships moved higher into orbit, their sensors overwhelmed by growing quantum anomalies. In his lab, Kai made the final connections in the symbol sequence. The Guardians didn't choose Earth by accident, he told Admiral Patel. They chose us because we're different. Every other species the Empire conquered faced them alone. But humans, we adapt. We unite against common threats. We defy impossible odds. And that's what they were waiting for, Zara added. Not just for us to find their keys, but for us to prove we could work together to use them. The Empire's deadline was now just 15 days away. But as humanity began to unlock the Guardians' legacy, a new question arose: were they ready for the power they were about to unleash? The Empire had ruled the galaxy through fear and overwhelming force. The Guardians offered humanity something far more potent, the power to rewrite the laws of reality itself. Above, High Commander Vaxer watched the quantum disturbances grow stronger. For the first time in his long existence, he felt something he'd never expected: fear. Not of the humans themselves, but of what they might become once they unlocked their true inheritance. Would you like me to continue with Part 3? This section focused on the discovery of humanity's true role and the nature of the ancient Guardians, while building tension toward the coming confrontation. The sky above Sydney turned purple at midnight. In Cairo, gravity reversed for 3 seconds. Across Shanghai, every quantum measuring device simultaneously overloaded. The Guardian's power was awakening, and reality itself was beginning to bend. Admiral Patel stood in the Global Command Center, watching the anomalies spread across a holographic Earth. Status report on the activation sequence, she demanded, her voice steady despite the growing chaos. 12 of 17 sites are synchronized, Commander Nakamura replied. Each activation is causing more temporal distortions. The Empire's ships have retreated to high orbit, they're clearly detecting this. In his deep-sea laboratory, Kai and Zara worked frantically to coordinate the global activation effort. The symbols they discovered weren't just keys, they were parts of a vast quantum lock, spread across the planet to prevent accidental activation. Now, as humanity deliberately triggered each sequence, the lock was beginning to open. Energy spike. Zara called out, her instruments detecting something massive stirring beneath the Pacific Ocean. The water itself seemed to curve impossibly, forming patterns that matched the ancient symbols. The quantum resonance is reaching critical levels. The Empire wasn't idle. High Commander Vaxer had received new orders from the Empire's capital: stop the humans at any cost. But their options were limited. Any direct attack might trigger an uncontrolled awakening of the Guardian's power, potentially devastating the entire sector. Instead, they tried subtlety. Imperial agents, disguised through advanced biotechnology to pass as human, attempted to sabotage key facilities. But humanity's unprecedented unity proved stronger than they anticipated. Global security forces, working in perfect coordination, thwarted attempt after attempt. "They're desperate," Admiral Patel observed, reviewing reports of the foiled sabotage. "They know we're close to something big." She was right. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, ancient machinery that had slumbered for millions of years was humming to life. The Guardians hadn't just left instructions, they'd built a vast network of quantum technologies into the planet itself, waiting for the day when humanity would be ready to use it. In orbit, the Empire's sensors detected growing disturbances in the fabric of spacetime. Their ship's advanced AI systems began reporting impossible readings, regions where the laws of physics simply ceased to function, replaced by something older and far more powerful. "The humans are succeeding," Nexar reported to High Commander Vaxer, his crystalline form flickering with anxiety. "The Guardian network is awakening faster than our models predicted." Vaxer stood at his command viewport, watching Earth's atmosphere ripple with quantum distortions. "Deploy the null field generators," he ordered. "If we can't stop them directly, perhaps we can contain what they're awakening." On Earth, the effects of the Empire's containment attempt manifested as a strange dampening field that settled over the activation sites. Equipment began malfunctioning, and the carefully calibrated quantum resonances started to fade. But Kai had anticipated something like this. "They're trying to suppress the quantum fields," he explained to the Global Defense Council. "But look at this." He displayed readings from the ancient ruins. The Guardians built-in countermeasures. The more they try to suppress the activation, the more energy builds up in the system. Zara's eyes widened as she understood. "It's like compressing a spring, the harder they push, the more powerful the release will be," Kai finished. Admiral Patel made a decision. "Continue the activation sequence. Let them think their suppression is working. We need every bit of power we can get." The next few days saw a careful dance between human determination and imperial intervention. While the Empire believed their null fields were containing the threat, humanity continued activating ruins in a precise sequence. Each activation added to the building quantum pressure. Strange phenomena became commonplace across Earth. Time flowed differently in different regions. Gravity ebbed and flowed like tides. The boundary between thought and reality grew thin, as the Guardian's influence began seeping back into our dimension. Then, 3 days before the Empire's deadline, everything changed. During a routine activation sequence at the Mariana Trench site, Zara noticed something extraordinary. The symbols weren't just activating, they were changing, evolving into new patterns that seemed to reach into higher dimensions. "This is it," she breathed, watching the transformations. "The final key." In orbit, the Empire's ships detected the change too. Their null fields began to fail as reality itself rejected their artificial constraints. High Commander Vaxer received readings that made his ancient blood run cold. The quantum signatures matched those of the original Guardians, from battles fought so long ago they had passed into legend. "Impossible," he whispered, watching Earth's atmosphere come alive with patterns of light that no human eye could perceive. "They're not just awakening the Guardians' weapons. They're becoming Guardians themselves." On Earth, Admiral Patel gathered the Global Defense Council for what might be their final meeting before the confrontation. The activation was approaching its climax, and no one knew exactly what would happen when the final sequence was completed. "The Empire gave us 30 days to surrender," she reminded them. "Instead, we found our true heritage. We discovered that humanity wasn't meant to be conquered, we were chosen to be guardians of something far greater than ourselves." As she spoke, the sky above every major city began to shimmer with impossible colors. The Empire's ships retreated further, their sensors overwhelmed by energies they couldn't comprehend. The final awakening was beginning, and Earth itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would become. "Would you like me to continue with Part 4? This section focused on the acceleration of humanity's transformation and the Empire's growing desperation, setting up the coming confrontation. The Empire struck at dawn. Thousands of smaller ships emerged from the massive command vessels, their crystalline surfaces blazing with weapons fire. But Earth was ready. As the first salvos of energy weapons descended toward major cities, they encountered something unexpected. Reality itself refused to cooperate. The Guardian network, now fully awakened, had transformed Earth's atmosphere into a quantum defense system. Energy beams bent away from their targets, caught in probability fields that redirected them harmlessly into space. Matter displacement torpedoes phased through their targets without effect, trapped between dimensions by forces the Empire couldn't comprehend. Admiral Patel stood in the transformed Global Command Center, where holographic displays had been replaced by direct quantum visualization. She could see the battle unfolding across multiple layers of reality simultaneously, her mind enhanced by the Guardian's awakening power. "They're testing our defenses," she observed, watching the Imperial attack scatter against Earth's new shields. "The real assault hasn't begun yet." She was right. High Commander Vaxer had deployed only a fraction of his fleet's true power. In his command chamber, he watched the initial attacks fail with growing concern. The humans hadn't just awakened the Guardian's defensive systems, they were actively controlling them, showing a level of adaptation that should have been impossible. "Deploy the reality anchors," he commanded. "Full spectrum assault. We end this now." The Empire's main fleet moved into attack position. Massive devices extended from their hulls, devices designed to lock local spacetime into rigid patterns that even Guardian technology couldn't manipulate. This was the weapon that had helped them defeat the original Guardians eons ago. But Earth had a surprise waiting. As the reality anchors activated, Kai and Zara initiated their countermeasure from their underwater command post. The symbols they'd spent weeks studying weren't just for defense, they were blueprints for weapons that operated on a fundamental level of reality. "Quantum resonance at maximum," Zara reported, her consciousness partly merged with the ancient systems. Initiating counter-protocol. Around the planet, the 17 activation sites pulsed with impossible energies. The ocean itself rose in geometric patterns, water forming solid shapes that defied physics. Mountains shifted, revealing structures that had been hidden since Earth's formation. And from these sites, pure quantum energy lanced upward toward the Imperial fleet. The battle that followed defied conventional description. Imperial reality anchors clashed with Guardian quantum weapons, creating zones where physics itself broke down. Cities phased between dimensions as their quantum shields fluctuated. Time flowed differently across the battlefield, with some exchanges lasting microseconds while others stretched for subjective hours. In orbit, High Commander Vaxer realized his mistake too late. The Empire's weapons were designed to fight the original Guardians, but humanity had done something unprecedented. Instead of simply awakening the ancient powers, they had merged with them, creating a hybrid force that operated outside the Empire's experience. "Sir," Nexar reported, his crystalline form crackling with stress, "we're detecting quantum signatures we've never seen before. The humans, they're evolving as they fight." On Earth, the transformation was becoming visible. Those working closest with the Guardian technology found themselves changing, their consciousness expanding beyond normal human limits. Admiral Patel could now perceive and coordinate the entire planetary defense network simultaneously. Kai and Zara had partly merged with the ancient systems, their minds processing quantum calculations that would have taken supercomputers millennia. The Empire launched its desperate gambit, a concentrated reality anchor strike designed to sever Earth's connection to the quantum network. Thousands of ships focused their weapons on a single point, attempting to create a cascade failure that would disable the entire system. But at that crucial moment, humanity revealed its final surprise. The scattered activation sites weren't just defensive positions, they were nodes in a vast quantum computer that encompassed the entire planet. As the Empire's attack struck, this network activated its primary protocol. Earth itself began to move. Not physically, but through quantum space, shifting slightly out of phase with normal reality. The Empire's weapons, calibrated for conventional space, found themselves striking at shadows while the real battle unfolded in dimensions they couldn't access. Impossible, Vaxer whispered, watching his fleet's most powerful weapons pass harmlessly through their targets. They've moved the entire planet into quantum flux. This was the true power the Guardians had left behind, not just weapons or defenses, but the ability to transcend the normal laws of physics. Humanity, with its unique adaptability, had taken this gift and evolved it into something new. Admiral Patel's voice, amplified by quantum technology, reached every Imperial ship. You gave us 30 days to submit to your power. We used that time to discover who we really are. This is your one chance to retreat. Earth is no longer your target, it is now your warning. To emphasize her point, the quantum network pulsed. A wave of pure probability collapsed outward from Earth, transforming a quarter of the Imperial fleet's reality anchors into abstract mathematical concepts, rendering them harmless. In his command chamber, High Commander Vaxer faced a decision that would reshape the Empire's destiny. His sensors showed more quantum transformations building around Earth, each more impossible than the last. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were rewriting the rules of reality itself. Would you like me to continue with the final part? This section focused on the main battle and humanity's full emergence as a hybrid Guardian force, setting up the story's conclusion. High Commander Vaxer made his decision too late. As he opened his mouth to order a retreat, Earth's quantum network reached full power. Reality rippled outward from the planet in concentric waves of probability, each pulse transforming everything it touched. Imperial ships found themselves caught in dimensional loops, their advanced technology rendered meaningless by forces that operated on a deeper level of existence. Full retreat. Vaxer commanded, but the order shattered against the quantum storm engulfing his fleet. The Empire's mighty ships, designed to conquer galaxies, were being undone by powers they had thought long extinct. On Earth, humanity's transformation accelerated. The Guardian Network wasn't just a weapon or a defense system, it was a key to the next stage of human evolution. As Admiral Patel coordinated the global response, she felt her consciousness expanding beyond normal spacetime, touching minds across the planet and beyond. We're detecting quantum signatures throughout the solar system, Zara reported, her voice resonating across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The network, it's growing beyond Earth. Kai, his form now more energy than matter, understood what was happening. The Guardians didn't just leave us their power, he explained to the Global Council, his thoughts manifesting as pure mathematical concepts. They left us their mission. We're becoming what they were, but different. Something new. The Empire's mighty fleet, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, found itself trapped between conventional space and the quantum realm. Their reality anchors, designed to lock down the laws of physics, crumbled against forces that existed before those laws were written. High Commander Vaxer watched in horror as his ships began to transform. The quantum waves weren't destroying them, they were changing them, converting their matter and energy into forms that existed in harmony with the new reality Earth was creating. "What are you?" he demanded, broadcasting across all frequencies as his command ship began to dissolve into pure probability. Admiral Patel's response came not in words but in direct quantum transmission, showing rather than telling. She revealed humanity's new understanding: the universe wasn't meant to be conquered, but guided. The Guardians hadn't been warriors but custodians, shepherding reality itself toward greater complexity in consciousness. The Empire had spent millennia imposing order through force, freezing reality into patterns they could control. But Earth, with its chaotic blend of life and consciousness, had been prepared for a different purpose. Humanity's gift wasn't just adaptation, but synthesis, the ability to take disparate elements and create something greater than the sum of its parts. As the quantum transformation spread through the solar system, the Empire's fleet faced a choice: resist and be unmade, or accept the change and become part of something greater. Ship by ship, crew by crew, they surrendered not to defeat but to transformation. The battle ended not with destruction but with transcendence. The Empire's mighty ships, their crystalline forms now pulsing with quantum energy, took up orbit around Earth not as conquerors but as students. High Commander Vaxer, his consciousness expanded by the transformation, finally understood what his people had spent millennia trying to prevent: the universe wasn't meant to be static and orderly, but ever-evolving and alive. Earth itself had changed. The 17 activation sites had become nexus points of pure quantum possibility, where reality flowed like water and consciousness expanded beyond physical limits. Humanity had not just awakened the Guardian's power, they had become its new embodiment, mixing their creativity and adaptability with forces that predated the universe itself. Admiral Patel, her form now a bridge between conventional reality and the quantum realm, addressed the transformed representatives of both Earth and the former Empire: "We stand at a threshold. The Guardians chose humanity not to fight their old battles, but to find a new way forward. They saw in us the potential to unite rather than conquer, to transform rather than destroy." The quantum network continued to grow, spreading through the solar system and beyond. But unlike the Empire's rigid order or the original Guardian's absolute transcendence, this was something new, a harmony of physical and quantum reality, where consciousness could flow between states and forms while maintaining its essential identity. Kai and Zara, their merged consciousness spanning multiple dimensions, began teaching others how to navigate this new existence. The ancient ruins, their purpose now fulfilled, transformed into gateways for humanity's continuing evolution. Earth became not just a planet but a school, where both humans and former imperial citizens learned to explore the true nature of reality. The Empire's 30-day deadline had passed, but time itself had become fluid, a medium to be navigated rather than a prison to be feared. Humanity had not merely survived, they had discovered their true heritage as custodians of creation itself. The age of empires was over. The age of transformation had begun. And in the deepest quantum realms, the original Guardians stirred, their ancient consciousness touching the new forms of life and awareness spreading from Earth. They saw their choice validated: humanity had not just used their power, but transformed it into something even they had not imagined. The universe itself seemed to pulse with new possibility, as the next chapter in cosmic evolution began to unfold. This concludes our story of humanity's transformation from a threatened species to the inheritors of the Guardian's legacy, and their reshaping of both themselves and their would-be conquerors into something greater than either had imagined.